certainty in these matters. I repeat, I think most people would accept the reasonableness of my point, and I note with interest and respect the point that the right honourable gentleman, who's an extremely experienced and distinguished parliamentarian, has made. Point of order, Sir Patrick McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I fully accept what you have said in the fact that you were not in the eye line of the Leader of the Opposition. Sitting where I was sitting, I was in the eye line of the Leader of the Opposition. I do have to accept what he has said at the dispatch box, because I don't think he would deliberately lie to the House. But people, other people, will be able to draw their own conclusions from it.
Well, can I, off the top of my head, thank the right honourable gentleman for what he has said, and for the understated terms in which he has said it. People can form their own judgment, but I appreciate the fact that the right honourable gentleman is not seeking to prolong the argument further, at any rate on the evidence of what he has just said, and that I think is respected. He's a very senior member of this House with long experience. And yes, indeed. Of course, I will come to the Honourable Lady. Point of order, Dr. Matthew Offord.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank you, Mr. Speaker, because you said you would go away and you would look at the evidence, you would look at the video, and you would make your mind up, and you did that. And I am very grateful. But it is for my constituents to make their own mind up when they actually look at that footage as well. And it is for them to decide if the honourable member or anyone else is indeed a misogynist or anti-Semitic, not for us.
Well, with great respect, and I heard the honourable gentleman out, and it was right to do so. He's made his own point, including a point that was not germane to these exchanges or this controversy, but it stands on the record. I have said I would look into it. I have looked into it. I've come back to the House and I've said what I've said, and the Leader of the Opposition has said what he's said, and I don't honestly think I can be expected to add to that, but I thank the honourable gentleman. A point of order. Yes, I will come to the honourable gentleman. Of course I will. Point of order, Mr. Nigel Huddleston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Further to the comments made by my honourable friend, the member for Chelmsford, can I say to you, with greatest respect, Mr. Speaker, that there are occasions when people do leave this chamber feeling that they have been offended by yourself. And I think the fact that the honourable member felt that way, yet did not feel that there was an appropriate process in place in order to make that complaint or concern felt, probably suggests we've still got work to do in terms of raising issues and concerns in this place.
Always work to do, and progress is not a matter of an isolated act or a single initiative, but rather of a continuous process. I accept the significance of what the honourable gentleman says in that regard, which seems to me to be unexceptionable. Unexceptionable. Yes, point of order, Laura Smith.
As somebody who is still a relatively new member of this House, I wondered if you could advise me on how I explain to my constituents the level of party politics that is being played out. Don't let them shout you down. Don't let them shout
you down. Order. That observation at the beginning of that point of order has met with much criticism, but I would very gently say to members can't have it both ways. They can't on the one hand talk about respect, wanting respect for their own right to speak and their own opinion, but not accord a comparable level of respect to someone who happens to express a view that differs from their own. Point of order, Laura Smith.
Mr. Speaker, you hit on the end of my point, because the level of hypocrisy in this place is quite astounding. To pot up with the most disgraceful insults thrown at us, and nobody more so, Mr. Speaker, than the Leader of the Opposition, who has to put up with it day in, day out.
Well, the honourable lady has made her own point with force in her own way, and I thank her for doing so. She's perfectly in order to do so, and it's on the record. Yes, a point of order. Forgive me. A point of order, Mr. Mike Wood.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The guidance that you issued to members earlier in the week drew attention both to the need for temperate language, but also to the provisions around misogynistic language as part of the respect policy. If these rules don't apply to the Leader of the Opposition, what protection can members, staff and staff of the House expect where behaviour isn't broadcast live on international television?
Well, I'm grateful to the Honourable Gentleman for his point of order, and the simple answer to the Honourable Gentleman is that the rules apply to every honourable and right honourable member of this House. That's the factual answer. I can do no other than provide the factual answer, but I thank him for what he said. Yes, I will take remaining points of order. I do ask the House to consider the other business to which we need to proceed. But point of order, Lloyd Russell-Moyle.
Thank you, Speaker. On a different note, and I hope on a note that is how point of orders should be used, I would like to seek... I would like to seek your advice.
Well, this is not a moment for levity, but I do want to hear what the honourable gentleman has to say. I do want to hear what the honourable gentleman has to say. Point of order, Mr. Lloyd Russell-Moyle.
I would like to seek your advice how I could get clarification on the answer that I received from the Foreign Secretary in the Yemen statement. I made a statement. I said that the head of the civil servant in the arms control unit had advised against sales and the ministers had overturned. He declared that that was not true. The Foreign Secretary and the Trade Secretary both refused to attend the Cake Committee hearing on this last year and have said that they will not attend this year. How can we get them to come to the committee to answer these questions, Mr. Speaker?
You can request, I say to the honourable gentleman that he can request attendance, and insofar as he inquires about other recourse open to him, my advice to the honourable gentleman, who is a resourceful individual, is that he should make the short journey from the chamber to the table office to table questions on this matter. Now, it may be that the honourable gentleman will feel inclined to table more than one question. He may table several. He may do so on a repeated basis. There is no prohibition on repetition in the House of Commons. Yes, point of order, Kemi Badenoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Further to your remarks earlier about impugning another member's honour and integrity, I distinctly heard during Prime Minister's questions the Leader of the Opposition refer to her actions as criminal. I've also checked on Hansard, and that is on the record. Is that in order?
It is perfectly in order to offer that expression of opinion, and I say that, yes, I say that on advice from the clerk. I didn't witness that exchange. I'm not asking the Minister of State. I'm not asking the Minister of State what she thinks he did say. I am responding to the honourable lady's point of order. People are entitled to offer their own views within the rules of order, and to the best of my knowledge, nothing disorderly was said. I'm happy to look at the record and consult further, but the advice that I have received is that nothing disorderly was said. And point of order, Mr. Ben Bradshaw, of course.
Mr. Speaker, I suspect most of us are in the chamber to hear a very important application for an emergency debate on the single most important issue that's faced our country in peacetime. And the public looking in will find this spectacle completely ludicrous. So can we please move on to the important business of the House?
I'm grateful to the right honourable gentleman for what he said. I hope he'll understand me if I say that it is not possible in these matters to please everyone. I'm trying to do the right thing by listening to, taking account of, and offering a response to points of order, but I am conscious, and the House will be conscious, that we have important business to which to proceed, and I do intend that we shall do so. And I would very politely suggest that if people have already raised points of order, they should not treat points of order as an ongoing debate. If somebody raises a point of order and I respond to it, I think it is reasonable to proceed to the next person and then to a conclusion of those points of order. Point of order, Dr. Caroline Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Trust in politics is very important. We have all seen, or the vast majority of us have now seen this video.